3 true horror serial killer stories. Today, we will talk about the horrific serial killer and their horror stories that will make you scared of your surroundings. This is not for the faint of heart, so watch it with some lights on. Number 1. The first story is about Ted Bundy, who was an American serial killer. Several documentaries and movies have been made about this serial killer. He admitted that he committed 30 murders, but people believed that the count was much higher. All of his victims were girls. The most horrible thing is that after killing his victims, he used to rape them and threw their bodies in the jungle to rot. But the question is, how the police were unaware of his crimes. Just like you see the killer in movies, who is just a normal-looking guy hanging out with people. Ted Bundy also pretended to be a normal human being who was a psychology and law student and was stepping into the political party soon. He knew all the rules and laws, so he knew how to save himself from being punished by law. He was a reputable man in society, but the satanic man knew how to attract girls toward him. He was a stylish man, and he knew how to make the moves to draw any girls closer to him. He was killing girls meanwhile in various areas. Slowly and gradually, people started to report missing women. When the cases increased, the investigation became stronger. It was told that in the place where the girls were missing, people also saw a man with baggage on his hand. Police also got the sketch and shared it on TV with the public. His colleagues saw his sketch and shared his name with police. Police didn't want to waste their time on a reputable man, and he was saved. Meanwhile, in 1974, he got admitted to Utah Law School and started living there. Now the girls started to vanish in Utah and Colorado. The number of cases in these areas started to increase. At the time, computers were just introduced, so police couldn't catch Bundy in that long list of names in the data. One day, the policeman caught Ted Bundy in the car and checked inside. He doubted him, as the things inside his car were not unusual things. There were trash bags, handcuffs, and other criminal tools inside the car. Police now felt that there was something wrong with this man. Police couldn't find anything in his house too. He was released after some questioning, but now he was under 24-hour surveillance. Later, police also found some girl's hair in his car, but they couldn't do anything about it. Police now gathered all the information and connected all the dots. Now they were sure that Ted Bundy was the killer they were looking for this whole time. They arrested him for a kidnapping case. Now Bundy thought that it was difficult to be saved, so he said that he will fight for his own case, as he was also a lawyer. He knew he wouldn't be handcuffed if he was his own lawyer. He went to the library and ran out the window. After a few months, he was caught again and arrested. In jail, he started to understand the floor plan, and again, he was successful in running away. What a clever man he was. Later, when the police were still looking for this man, he attempted to kill 3 more girls, one of which died on the spot, and 2 of them were taken to the hospital. In Florida, a policeman investigated him. He tried to run away, but was caught by the policeman. Now, it was the 3rd time he was caught by the police. He was given death by electric chair, and this is how Bundy reached his end. Number 2. This story is about a Night Stalker serial killer named Richard Ramirez. He was born in Texas in 1960. During his childhood, he got hit on his head a lot of times, due to which he suffered from epilepsy. His life started to take a turning point at the age of 13. He got really close to one of his cousins. His cousin was in the army and came back from the Vietnam War. His cousin shared all of his memories with Richard. Those memories also included pictures of the people he killed in the war and the girls he raped. He also showed him a picture in which he held the head of a girl. They started hanging out with each other a lot, doing drugs and all that together. His cousin taught him some army man moves to kill a person. Now Richard started to spend more time outside of his home. He spent nights in a graveyard more than his bed. His cousin shot his wife in the face in front of Richard. He was arrested and sent to a mental hospital. Richard started to live with his sister and brother-in-law. His brother-in-law was also a pervert, and they stalked girls at night. Richard also started some satanic practices with dangerous rituals, including killing and all that weird, crazy stuff. He started to work at the Holiday Inn and started theft there. One day, he tried to rape a girl in her room, but was caught by her husband. Richard was saved because the girl and her husband were from another state. He went to California when he was 23. In 1984, he killed a 9-year-old girl after rape. After that, in June, he killed an old woman with a knife brutally. In 1985, he killed a 22-year-old girl, but she was saved by the key in her hand, as voltage struck with the key. So he killed her hostel mate, who was hiding in the house. Just 1 hour after doing this, he went to a parked car, grabbed a girl out of it, and shot her. After 10 days, he killed a 64-year-old man and his wife in their home. His wife tried to kill him with his husband's shotgun, but it was not loaded, so Richard became angry after shooting her. He stabbed her with a carving knife and took out her eyes, and took them in a jewelry box with him. Police still couldn't find any solid proof against him. Police only found that all of this was a work of a psycho serial killer. Once, he tried to kill a 16-year-old girl while she was sleeping with an iron rod. He couldn't find anything to kill her completely, so he grabbed her neck with a telephone wire. The wire sparked, which made him scared, so he ran away, leaving the girl. The girl got 500 stitches on her body. Richard thought that it was from Jesus Christ, or else, how could a telephone wire get that spark? After stealing all the things from the victims, Richard used tannic pentagram sign with lipstick on the wall and mirrors in the house of the victims. People also panicked and were terrified by the news on the media. Richard hid for a while, but again, he came out and killed a man in his sleep. The man luckily was saved. He raped his wife and said, "I swear to Satan," and left her alive. After that, he took a random car in the parking lot and ran away. A 13-year-old boy noted the car plate number and informed the police as he doubted them. The car was found in a deserted area, and the fingerprints from the car got matched with Richard's old records. Now his face was everywhere on the media and posters. When he went for groceries in the market, some people recognized him and stabbed him with an iron rod. Police caught him. He showed his pentagram sign on his hand, saying, "Hail Satan." Later, he was sentenced to death in the gas chamber. He smiled and said, "Big deal. Death always went with the territory. See you in Disneyland." That was one of the creepiest stories I've ever heard. Number 3. You might have heard of a lot of obsession of serial killers, but this one is bizarre and creepy. Jerry Brudos was a serial killer who was obsessed with women's shoes. He was born in 1939 in South Dakota. He loved women's shoes. One day, he brought stilettos with him at home. His mom asked him to throw them away, but he didn't do so his mom burnt them. After that day, his obsession got worse and converted into something else. He used to steal his teachers' and classmates' shoes. He was just 17 when he dug a hole in a secret palace to abduct girls for sex. He attacked a woman and asked her to make naked pictures of him in the same place. But he was caught red-handed and was sent to a psychiatric ward for evaluation. He told them about his desire of keeping the girls' body parts for an exhibition that would be appealing to him. Also, they got to know about his obsession with keeping girly shoes and undergarments. But they released him, saying that he was young and he will be fine later on. Later on, he got married to Darcy and they had 2 children. He seemed normal to the outside people, but his obsession arose more after the marriage. He asked his wife to be naked all the time and do house chores in high heels. She compromised for some time, but later on she was tired and she wanted to give her time to her children. One day, Brudo followed a girl due to her high heels and raped her in her home. He told police he was attracted by her body. Later on one day, a girl went to his house for selling a newspaper. He got his opportunity and stabbed her. It was his first kill. He took her down into the basement and cut her feet and used them to display heels. Later on, he kept on killing other women. He raped their dead bodies too and satisfied his old spree of killing. Later on, police found the dead bodies of 2 women in the river. After investigation, they reached his house and found all the proof with dead women's pictures, their body parts, shoes, and all of that. He was caught and his wife divorced him. He died in jail in 2006. There was also a movie named Mindhunter on his crime, which left people chilled. And that was all for today's Scary Killers. Tell us your opinions in the comments section. Thanks for watching.